With the prayers of our Holy Fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Good evening. My name is Father Joseph Swaden, and due to numerous technical difficulties right now, I'm going to try to wing stuff. First off, for those who don't know me, I'm the founder and editor of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News. True Orthodox News and Apologetics on YouTube is an output on that. We started in 2004, 21 years ago, and we have been on YouTube for the past 7 years. In the first place, happy, today is All Saints Day, so happy feast to literally everybody. Second off, it's Father's Day, so for all the dads in the chat, it's Father's Day in the U.S., I should say. So for all the dads in the chat in the U.S., many years to you. Today is our live Q&A session where we will take call-ins from guests. People will have questions, who have comments, etc. If you want your comments to appear on the screen, make sure to super chat. Otherwise, I will have this on the bottom. This is a kind of a preliminary setup, but I have lost a number of things, including scripts and apparently even the ability to pin the comment live for some reason. It is not pinning, so I'm gonna probably have to copy this. I don't have to do that. I'm probably just gonna have to copy this, and every 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna have to repeat call in live because for some reason it won't pin to the top of the stream. So now getting started. Let's see what our first comments are today. The machine lives from the desert to the catacombs. Pretty funny. That to compromise says surgeonism is effeminate, passivity is fatal. And John Taylor Hardin, who is a member, says Happy Father's Day. Father bless, may God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And also, if you are a member, you get your comments on the screen, just like as if you had sent in a super chat, which, by the way, at least these particular banners haven't been deleted, so that's a plus. So just don't forget, you can call in live. Father Simeon says, Father bless, may God bless you in the name of the Father and the Holy Spirit. Holy Father, I guess even my live comment counter thing isn't working. So yeah, let's get started. First thing to note, there was an article in the new American version of the Union of Orthodox Journalists, which was a Russian it's a kind of a Russian patriarchal news service. The fellow who, Dmitry Petritsis, the fellow who, tried to purchase it, it wasn't given exactly the best. He wasn't given exactly the best presentation. As you can see, they're called a schismatic sect. I am part of an anonymous sect. I mentioned in the thing, but here's the thing that was the important part. The important part of this is that it says that the link is still online and shows the property was listed at $300,000. However, the page also states that the property is no longer available and is off the market. Despite what the listing shows, no sale has been reported at this time. So the good news is that even temporarily, it looks like perhaps they reconsidered demolishing the Holy Resurrection Cathedral. Perhaps. The article, if you want to see it, it's not a friend to True Orthodox at all. But it's at uoj.news. Let me see if I can share that on the screen. 1 second. So if you go there, you'll find this article. It says Greek old calendarist seeks to buy historic OCA Cathedral, which is true. Ortho Pirate. As a member, you get your comment on the screen. As always, Happy Father's Day. Thank you very much, and a blessed feast of all saints for whoever your patron saint is, because no matter who your patron saint is, today is their feast day. So yeah, this is it's a pretty interesting thing that we've discovered here. So, cool. All right, so we're gonna remove that. Let me think here. Denise says, God bless, Father bless, may God bless you. Okay, comments are starting to appear on the screen finally. I had a great a number of ideas for some low-tech ways to make these videos a little more clear and interesting. Unfortunately, due to security measures I took on my computer, I ended up losing a lot of things. So that is important, and I have a slightly shaky camera because I have been doing a lot of rearranging. As you may notice, usually it looks like it's sunny to my left, and now it looks like it's sunny to my right, and I look bald. But in any case, that is because we moving everything. It's not a new lamp. It's a lamp that was in the church that is no longer that in the chapel. It's no longer necessary. It takes up too much space. So I moved that lamp up here. So I've been doing a lot of moving around stuff. And of course, just noting, of course, that today the Jay Dyer debate phobia counter is at 24. Will I keep coming up with new names for it? I absolutely will. Will I keep counting on it? I absolutely will. I can guarantee you that eventually this will look embarrassing. I think it already looks embarrassing at 24, considering this is a guy whose tagline is "Come at me right now." So, we've come at him for 24 days and he doesn't seem to want to respond. So, yeah. Anyway, let me see here. So today has been kind of crazy. It's a busy day through I assume throughout the churches. That piece of news we discovered that yesterday on Saturday, and I was like, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. And so it's possible. I believe that making positive changes is possible. Too much of Ortho Bro society lives in doomer mode. And that's just not how I roll. We're supposed to be joyful. We're supposed to be hopeful. We're supposed to be Christians. So let's do that. That no doomering on my timeline. So anyway, so it's been a very interesting weekend. Israel bombed Iran. Iran bombed back. So yeah, lots of stuff. Hold on. Michael says he rebukes RC, but he can't be so naive that he doesn't realize World Orthodox is almost identical in their modernism. I think he knows. And I think that that's part of the reason he will not debate us. I think it's part of the reason he will not go on Vocab Malone's channel and will not talk to me, because he saw what happened in that 2023 debate. All of the lies, all of the modernism got exposed. And when it gets exposed and the truth comes out, well, then, at that point, it's just, it's at this point, it's now revisionism. They know the truth. They know the truth already, and there's nothing shocking about it. All right, it looks like my internet's getting fuzzy, so I am going to see what I can do to fix that. Let me see here. Okay, now it seems to have gotten a little stronger. It's back. Okay, so again, this is the live Q&A session, which means you can ask your questions on Orthodoxy if you want to challenge. For a little debatey sort of thing. If you have comments, please call in live. Unfortunately, I would just say click the link at the top of the chat, but for some reason, the link, it won't allow me to link to the top of the chat anymore. So I don't know why that is. I guess I could try it again and hope it works. It would really make my life easier than having to constantly replace this thing. And so let me see if it works. No, it's still not working. Is there any button maybe that's being pressed on the keyboard that's causing this? I can't pin it. I just can't pin it. Let me see here. Let me go to live chat. Maybe it'll work there. No. Timestamps, reactions, pop-out chat. Yeah. Yeah, Denise, I think that's correct. He's scared people will see his true colors. We already do. I cannot make it a top pinned chat, so I'm going to have to just keep on sharing every 15 minutes or so, which is going to be really annoying. But yeah, unless we start using the same studio, and then okay, I might have a solution for this. Let me see here. Tonio CS says, "Hi, I'm not baptized, and I'm going to Rila Monastery in Bulgaria in the summer. I'm planning to join the church too. I have been reading lots of church fathers and others like Calvin, Luther, Zwingli. Well, first off, Calvin, Luther, and Zwingli are Protestants. If you are planning to join the church, my suggestion to you, if you're going to Bulgaria, is let me just see here, because I'm pretty sure the Rila Bulgaria monastery is new calendars, but there are old calendar Bulgarian monasteries. Hold on. I'm sure that there are quite a few, and if anyone in the chat wants to jump in and help, because I gotta go find these things. I don't know if that'll work. It might. But in any case, let me see here. Stop sharing there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find a link for you for the Bulgarian Orthodox, the true Bulgarian Orthodox Church. I don't recommend going to ecumenists, but if you are going to Bulgaria, there's plenty of true Orthodox that are around there, and you want to go to a proper monastery and a proper place for the proper development of your faith. Let me see here. Michael says, is Israel hitting Iran's nuclear sites a fulfilled prophecy saying that we are in the beginning of the end times, like Father Peter here says, quoting the Metropolitan Neophytus of Morphu most likely? No, I don't believe it is. I believe there's a lot of different ways that people can get that. And I'll tell you, like as I mentioned, I saw a humorous tweet, but it's so close to a potential reality, you never know. There is an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu in the International Criminal Court. And all it would take, hold on. Welcome, Father Simeon.
Yes, well, I was just trying. I'm on. Wait a minute, to the TV.
No problem. How are you feeling today?
I was just trying to see if signing in would work, and I guess it does.
Oh yeah, it does. It's just that you know how it was pinned to the top of the chat before. I can't do that.
Right.
I have to keep printing. I have to keep writing "call in live" over and over. How are you feeling? Is that your house or the hospital?
This is my messy cell.
Oh, glory to
God. How am I feeling? I'm recovering again. I was in the inpatient once again.
Yeah.
A few days ago. I don't remember. I don't even know now when it was. But,
well, Michael's. Well, hopefully, I'm. We're welcome to stay on. What are you? What were you recovering from, Father?
First time I was recovering, and still am, from cancer when they found they found cancer when they removed the a growth in the small intestines to the large, and so I'm still recovering from the cancer. The treatment stopped when I had to go back in again. Oh, I remember why I was back in there again. It felt like I was at home, and I felt like I was having a heart attack.
Oh wow!
And the stupid thing is, they don't label it as a heart attack, but it felt like one. It ended up being, see if I remember what it is. The aorta severus, something like that. I always want to say disservice, because I was starting making a joke about it. Now I can't remember the actual name. But it's where the aorta someplace splits, doesn't stay together. So I'm recovering
You're
from
my
that.
prayers to feel better. We pray for you at the altar, and I hope that you continue recovering and getting better.
Yeah, so I certainly hope so, and I thank you for your prayers. And I'll update everybody on email, because nobody in the Metropolia knows. So till now, maybe.
Well,
all right, on with the show, Father.
Thank you, Father. God bless you, and feel better. All right, so let me see here. Michael's Victor Hutran says, "Father bless looking sharp." Father Joseph, I'm pretty sure I look the same. Michael says, "Arrest warrant means nothing to those Zionists. They're completely rogue state at this point." But he is in Greece. It is within the realm of possibility. Hold on, let me remove. Hold on. Father, if you want to come back for a comment or question, just let me know and I will put you back on the screen, okay?
Okay.
All right. Tony OCS says, if I want to learn real Orthodoxy and not learn from false teachers online, what do you recommend for me? I'm really in love with the faith since my conversion 8 months ago. Try to find a true Orthodox church and be under your priest or bishop. It's really that simple. Wherever you are. Tonya says, I guess to Father Simeon, God bless you and hope for a speedy recovery. Yep, he's in our prayers, and Father Simeon will continue to be in our prayers. Let's see here. What else we've got going on? All right. So, again, this is our live Q&A. The live Q&A show. We do this every Sunday. Between 8:30 and 10:30, where we take questions, comments, you name it, debate challenges. All here. All you have to do is click the link that used to be in the top of the chat, but is not now. So I will just keep adding it. Hold on. So if anyone is itching to call in live, there's the link again. We will find a better way to do this. So let's take a look here. Jay Dyer is still a no-show. Bad look for 24 days, my friend. 24 days now, and he just seems very very nervous about it. But I will probably make this a little bit this text a little bit smaller so that the 24 isn't behind the chat box. But yeah, we're just gonna what kind of layout is this? This is not my normal layout. Oh, okay, I know what happened. Hold on. Bada bing, bada boom, bada ba. Okay, so yeah, he is still a no-show. Again, this, as I mentioned, it's our live Q&A chat. If you'd like your comment to appear on the screen in full size, just click the link in the top of the chat. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, XMR, or on Give, Send, Go. Just look in the description and, in the description to see how you can help. This is, once again, this channel is basically at this point 100% supporter funded. And that can change depending on how much supporters support. And if I'm being honest, this time in the summer, it usually gets a little slower. And also with, people getting ready for holidays, a lot of people don't, they kind of don't want to donate, but we operate on minimal expenses here. I have no idea how to express that clearly, but the expenses are indeed minimal. But if you do donate via super chat, which supers do YouTube takes 30% from, but we put it on the screen. Father Boniface is a member. Benedicite, Father. Hope you are feeling okay. And I talked to you earlier. He is recovering. Yeah, a lot of people are hurt and in the hospital, and other people are in the hospital for other reasons. And yeah, so anyway, Let's see what's going on here and how long this is going to be. I feel, I know that there have been coordinated efforts, to kind of get this channel taken down for some reason. There have been coordinated efforts to attack me personally, smear campaigns, etc. But somehow we keep surviving, and we do that with your help. So, once again, whatever you can do to help is really appreciated. Normally, we have a. We've been putting up a kind of a target, and I'm going to be honest. A lot of the targets haven't hit these days. They did like early on, but something happened. I don't know what. And so I don't know. Maybe like I think we're having good effects, and I think we're having a positive effect overall. But I don't know what's going on. So I'm leaving the target open today. It's target anything because, quite frankly, I mean we've got bills to pay. I could say $400 and I'll get 20. I mean, the point is I don't know what works anymore. But I do know asking helps. So yeah. Right now, it's been a pretty intense few weeks in our household. New kids, and that takes time out of people's schedules, and I've been all over the place in the past couple of days. Michael said at St. Mark Helen, Astoria, the whole service is in Greek, right? I don't believe so. I want to say it's majority Greek, but there is English, I think. But I haven't seen a service there in ages because I've lived in Pennsylvania for the past, 13, 14 years. So I haven't had a chance to see it in a long time. But I was pretty sure that there was Greek and English. I don't know how much is which, but yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. Okay. Let me see here. So yeah, I'm trying to think. So as I said, Israel attacked Iran. Iran attacked back, and ultimately, it looks like President Trump has no interest in going yet. I assume there will be some implicit threats to, if not him, to at least members of Congress, other people in the White House who have his ear, so that they can try to force America into another war. Okay, first off, thank you to DA. First donation of the night, and much appreciated. And that was for $5. So I am definitely going to add that on, and appreciate it. That was through Cash App, because we do have PayPal and Cash App on the website. It does help because it goes directly to our accounts, and more importantly, it doesn't have 30% taken off. But everyone, I mean, people love super chats, so I am not going to say no to super chats. I get about 300 to 400 from YouTube every month, and most of that is from super chats. So please keep sending them in, because if I can get it up to 400 regularly, that's the mortgage. Oh no. I guess we're starting with Father's Day fireworks. So that'll be interesting. But yeah. Anyway, let's see here. So see here again. It is our live Q&A. It is our live Q&A session where we take your calls, your questions, your comments, your angry comments, debate challenges, call us names. I mean, whatever you feel like. But if you want to get, the only other way to get on the screen is with a super chat, or in that little box there. But the point is, a lot of people. Oh, another piece of news we have to talk about. Hold on one second while I add the call in live, which unfortunately is not pinned to the top of the chat because for some reason it won't work. We had a debate scheduled for August 5th between myself and Adam Koptic on the Council of Chalcedon. Unfortunately, earlier this week, Adam canceled fairly abruptly. So Lotus, being a member, as you can see, when you're a member, your name's on the screen. Your blessings, Father Joseph. God bless you. Name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So unfortunately, Adam said he was feeling kind of a spiritual and mental toll, or something had happened, and he couldn't do the debate anymore. It's unfortunate, and I could have. I mean, I'm not going to rub in a forfeit when he's clearly got some issues going on. All we can do is pray for him. But it does leave us open because we now have no debates scheduled, and we really could use some. Because debates are kind of how apologetics works, in the sense that you're giving a ready answer to those who are heterodox against those who are orthodox. With that, we are out of debates, and we are hoping the one with Elijah Yassi unfortunately fell through. We're waiting for him to find something else or find another venue. No luck so far. So we're back where we were at the very beginning when I was saying nobody was willing to debate me. Congratulations, nobody is willing to debate me. And I think that is a lot of that's fear. We are, Orthodox Christians are part of the true faith, true Orthodox Christians. We are part of the faith of the apostles and fathers. And every single person who disagrees with us, and every single person who wants to say otherwise, is afraid to actually formally debate us, because we have the truth, we're right, and as more and more people become true Orthodox and get the levels of education in terms of books and experience that I have, I can promise there'll be another dozen of me. There'll be 100 of me in different jurisdictions among different people. The problem for the cowards in world Orthodoxy, like Jay Dyer, is that soon you won't have to debate me. There will be 100, 1,000 of me. Then what? They won't have the same face, the same name. They'll be someone else, but they will know what I know, and that will make them indestructible. Daniel York asks, are there rood screens in a pre-schism Western church? Yes, there are. It is more common than not. While services could be celebrated without a rood screen, like if it was like forced to celebrate outdoors or in a hidden room or something, yeah. But rood screens, they were pre-schism, and they were actually very common, as were Templon screens. No, the pre-schism Western Rite Orthodox Christians wanted to preserve the mystery of the service, just like the Easterners. So, yeah, when this open chancel thing that the Roman Catholics and the wannabe Western Rite people do, it's just because they have a difference of mentality than what is the church's. Father Antonio says, good evening. Good evening, Father Antonios. And so, again, I'm kind of sad that the call-in live button's not working, and I do want to do more stuff, with the other things. But again, this is, it's a tricky thing to do. But we are under a lot of opposition right now. A lot, there's downvotes, negative comments, reports. People are using things on our channel that we haven't seen in years. And I think that's partially because people are afraid as the message continues to get out. It's one thing for, if you missed it earlier, we had the news article up from the Union of Orthodox Journalists in America. But the simple reality is they preferred not to admit that we existed. They preferred to say, no, they don't exist at all. It's just one or two guys. Then what happens? They try to destroy their history, the legacy that we all share. And just one man begins to make moves, and it's enough to scare them into stopping the sale, at least temporarily, or maybe until we stop talking, which we never will, because this building will remain part of our history forever. So the thing is, Let me see here. Michael says, Tonio, I believe the channel, The Orthodox Field, is a good one. It absolutely is a good one, and it is on our recommended channels. If you go to our main page on YouTube, we have a number of recommended channels in America and throughout the world of true Orthodox people. And I highly recommend, using the resources that we try to put together here. It's not because we want to show off how many friends we have. It's because we really want to help out people. If you are looking to talk to other true Orthodox people, there's always places like the Afrosynos Cafe. If there's any issues with sign up, let me know. And so that's a lot of stuff that is already, in place that we've kind of started working on in the past couple of years, and we're doing things with them. The simple reality is that, right now, a lot of ecumenists and heterodox and a lot of these liberals and modernists, they are afraid. They are afraid of what we are doing. And that is why they have to call us names. They have to call us sects. They have to pretend that we are something that we are not. We're Orthodox Christians preserving the faith. I apparently was even in this article, which I didn't find last time, but it was pretty funny, of the True Orthodox, another old calendarist sect. So that tells you everything you need to know. Those who refer to themselves as True Orthodox are a sect to them. The whole thing is sad, and it's getting they're getting more upset because they can't hide what they're doing. And maybe that was just a bridge too far. Maybe somehow the saint that was instrumental in my own conversion and somehow brought me over to Orthodoxy, and then brought me to this region where this here town where that church is. Also, why I don't think he brought us here, not just me but other people brought us to this region so that we could just watch history be destroyed under their noses. I don't think so. The DTC says it's getting sus, and Pete called us names. I'm not going to talk about Pete. I said my piece on Pete. I am sure I did, and if it seems like I don't want to talk about it, it's because I know. I've talked to Pete in the past, Dr. Pete. He's a real doctor. I know some of his family members. I can't imagine what they saw today from him. Would have been traumatic. Imagine raising a family through all your difficulties, and then your son or daughter just throws them away to hang out with people like Jade Dyer. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Oh well. I don't want to think about it. I don't know. Daniel York asked, were there Western style icons before the schism? Yeah, there were. Some of the iconography was different. I would recommend looking at a lot of the older manuscripts. It's not identical. Now, the Roman style, I will say, is pretty much almost identical to the Byzantine style because that's East Roman style. They were the same style. But there were, you see other styles in Hispanic works and Celtic works, etc. So, yeah, there were. And so that's, again, this is our live Q&A session where people can call in live. And if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. And again, support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, XMR, or on Give, Send, Go. All of it comes to help us. Just look in the description. And as for today, we have made $5, and that's good. It's a good start. So that's I want to say thank you to DA. I don't know if I listed him as DA. I should have. Let's take a look here. Double check. Okay, and I will say DA. Save and there. So anyway, so that's where we are. If you have questions or comments, if you want to jump on the stream, look for the call in live throughout the chat. Unfortunately, for some reason, the pin feature that we had previously is not working for comments. So I just have to keep putting this in the chat. And of course, I forgot a space. Hold on. Cleve Tentacular says, "Hey, good to see you." Likewise, Cleve. I don't know if you just popped in, but yeah, it's it's our call-in Sunday as always. I think you guys do a call-in on your side too. So in any case, yeah, I was just talking. We were talking about the church thing, and we were talking about the what was the big thing? Adam canceled from the Coptic side on the debate, so I now once again have no debates left, and I'm looking for an opponent. I mean, even you, Pastor Ben, I'll even though we're friendly and all, I mean, truth is truth, so debate's debate. So there's the offer. Still waiting on hearing Jay Dyer, who has been absolutely terrified, I guess, of us. 24 days now. We're going on almost a month. He definitely knows about it. People have definitely told him about it, but he ain't going to touch it. Yeah, if you want to pop on the stream, you're welcome to. Yeah, sure. And so yeah, that's what we're looking at. Because I could sit here bashing Jay Dyer for an hour if I get donations. I refuse to. Wicked Wally, happy Father's Day, Father Joseph. I don't know if you have kids, but happy Father's Day to you if you do. So well, you tell dad jokes. You have to have kids. You're a dad. So all right. Anyway, let's see here. Oh yeah, that I know. If people were wondering why I was demanding people ask for likes on a set of dad jokes on X. It's part of a give, send, go sweepstakes that I guess that I hope it's finished now, and I hope I won something. But the idea was, yeah, yes, thank you. I have a teenage son. I'm well experienced. Yes, okay, very good. So you're probably enjoying dad jokes all the time. But yeah, I almost won I was trying to win a sweepstakes because they had all these Father's Day gifts, and I was thinking maybe I could win that and then give it to two of the young fathers in my life, who my son and my son-in-law, who are dads. I have other kids, but it's Father's Day, so I need to focus on the fathers. And then I called my Metropolitan, for Father's Day, because he's a spiritual father. Nothing wrong with calling your priest for Father's Day. As a Roman Catholic looking into true Orthodoxy, what should I read, and are there churches in Michigan? I know that there are at least 2 or 3 parishes of the GOC Kalinikos. I know my own synod is trying to develop a reader mission there in the Upper Peninsula. There's options. Father Methodius Huastek is a great person to talk to about that. He does have a mission parish there, as well as helping run another parish. Father Stephen Allen is in Michigan. So yeah, there's a few people in Michigan. So Cleve says, let my wife get situated. I'll pop on. She's feeling sick. I understand. No, do what you have to do. This is not a priority, except to me, because I'm running it. So again, as I support the channel, I don't think we've ever been more. As Michael says, there can't be 2 or 3 in Michigan. There's only one church in Florida. Duh. If only Jay could get over his debate phobia, he'd find out the truth. Traditional says sirens are going off in Israel right now. I know, and Netanyahu's in Greece. Maybe they'll arrest him. Probably not. But if we wish hard enough for him to be in prison, I mean, pray about it. That's not. I'm not. We're not asking to kill him. We're just asking to put him in jail. But yeah, this is what happens when you don't have our weapons to to attack other countries with impunity. It's what happens when you aren't using our military as a human shield. The second that we say that tap is closed, all of a sudden things start getting real weird. So you never know. Yeah, my coward runs to Greece. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Daniel, there are a few true Orthodox churches. If you look for the channel for Father Methodius Wastek, it is in my channels on my main page. He is in Michigan, so if you follow him and look at his info and reach out to him, he'll probably be able to direct you to what's closest. Daniel says, do you think the state in Turkey will convert to Orthodoxy or collapse? Good question. We do know there were signals from Turkey warning that Israel was planning to attack Turkey recently. I mean, I don't want to act like it's Christmas, like all of a sudden, because the social order in the Middle East has been somewhat upended. But yeah, I think y'all waiting for Hagia Sophia back, you might be waiting a pretty long time. I realize that a lot of your prophecies require that, like the guys, not yours personally, but a lot of the prophecies of the World Orthodox and stuff that have come up from recent elders, that's part of it. Yeah. It's not recent. It's not traditional. It's not the old prophecies as they have been read. So the answer is maybe you get Hagia Sophia back, but if you don't freak out about it. So that's my opinion. But is it possible? Even if it collapses, it's unlikely to convert to Orthodoxy simply because of the few numbers of people that are there. I would say that's actually more likely in Iran, where something like 40% of the mosques are actually closed, even though they exist, because people are disbelieving, people are becoming Christians, they're setting up house churches all over the place. That is more likely possibility. Michael says, I have a prophecy that Jay Dyer will never debate you, and I think the odds are in my favor. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret, Michael. I didn't think he was going to debate me within 30 days. I thought he was going to debate me within 90 days, and I have a lot more jokes coming. And so I'm going to be having fun with the fact that the supposed great debater, Jay Dyer, is afraid of me. He's afraid of any true Orthodox, but they're not all asking for a debate. I am. So he's afraid of me. And I'm going to have fun with that all the time. And I'm going to say, if you think that Dyer is being dishonest, then also donate because it's Father's Day, because you want to help the channel. See how I did that? Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, the Marble King? Yeah, right. The Marble King. Oh, boy. Maybe it's just throwing people off that the light source is from the other side. It's really a different lamp. My old lamp is unplugged. Just rearranging rooms, making processes more efficient. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, let me see here. What else have we got? So again, it's our live Q&A session. If it sounds like I don't know what I'm saying, it is because, believe it or not, I have a terrible surprise for you. Most of my openings were scripted. I was reading off a script I wrote, just about me, about NFTU, about stuff, about the show. All of it's gone because I did some security thing, and it has deleted notes. It has made my internet browsing considerably harder. Daniel York says, can anyone please pray for my big brother? He watches Hamas Piker. I assume Hassan. Yeah, that nerd. Yeah, we can always pray for him. You just, when you ask for prayers, you usually should ask for a first name. John Taylor Harden John says, but Father, There's only one true Orthodox bishop in Florida. Jay Dreyer said so. I know. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Yeah, Daniel, if you want someone to pray, us to pray for someone, it's always important when dealing with Orthodox, give people a name. Whether it be that we have to, oh boy, whether it be that we have, that was my speaker. It's a weird speaker, and it just decided to fall off the table. When asking Orthodox to pray for you, it's weird. Like, it's always good to give a first name. People I see say stuff on the internet like, pray for my brother, he's this, and it's like, what am I supposed to, oh Lord, help these nuts 1756? Like, give him a name. Please, give him a name. Pano Castoro says, maybe you already answered this, but what are your views on the World War III prophecies? I know you don't find Elder Paisius to be a saint, but what about prophecies from earlier saints like Cosmas of Aetolia? I respect those prophecies. I recognize that World War III has to happen before the coming of Antichrist. What I don't necessarily recognize is that it's happening now. It's harder, especially to push Elder Paisius' prophecies, because A, some of them have been wrong, and B, they're oddly specific. And when prophecies are oddly specific, unfortunately, they're usually wrong. It's pretty simple that way. Let me see here. I don't know what that means. It looks like two eyes or something. From St. Michael Kilia. I guess it could be feet or drops. I don't know what those are. Orthodox OTP says, but Neophytus said you'll be drinking Starbucks when the bombs drop. Yes. And he was quoting from an elder who said you'll be drinking tea when the bombs drop. Well, sucks to be you guys because I drink water in the morning. So guess what I won't be doing? Watching the bombs drop. And now Iran's dropping the bombs. I don't think that's how the prophecy is supposed to go. I think it was supposed to be that Israel, being super powerful and setting up the Antichrist, was supposed to blow up Iran. It hasn't quite worked out that way, has it? Yeah. So I hope that helps, Pano. Yep, thank you, no problem. Michael, I'm a truck driver, and his name's Gabriel. All right, child of God, Gabriel, wife, help, and lead him to truth. Let me see here. I am a truck driver, and in the last 2 years, I've seen drastically more military vehicles and equipment getting moved around the highways. That's no accident. That is absolutely no accident. There is still the underlying plan of controlling the population, so they still want to do that. So yeah, I'd be watching that carefully. You like to say Michael Killius' prayers for Gabriel, indeed. So I hope that helps. And once again, let's see here. If you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. Because I cannot pin chats like I have in every other week in the past couple of years. I am putting this on the screen one more time, and I'm putting in the chat a link if you want to call in and join the chat. That compromise says, I mean, isn't it normal for the military to do domestic travel as well as training? That's true. And there are normal drills that the military does on civilian soil. So it could be something far more innocent. However, if Michael's saying in his area he's seeing an increase, it could be routine, but maybe it's not. It just depends. And so, yeah, I mean, but I think everyone has a right to ask. So let's see here. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, I think that's yeah. OTP says, yeah, military vehicles don't teleport to different locations, LOL. Very true. Very true. So yeah, we're just going through everything that we can, and let me see here. Let's see. All right, so we haven't got any questions or comments. I mean, we've covered the debate forfeit. We've covered, the Holy Resurrection Cathedral, possible victory there. And so basically, yeah, that's we're kind of good that way. Um, Again, if once again we completely rely on we rely on the support of our community, our supporters. Um, so we'll put this on. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LT0XMR, or on GiveSendGo. Or leave a super chat. That also helps, even though YouTube takes 30%. What I'm going to do now, because it seems pretty quiet and I don't see anyone popping in or anything right now for a live stream. I'm going to take a few moments and I'm going to take a water break. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. Thanks for that. I see there was some interesting stuff happening in the comments, keeping it alive. Very nice. As you can see, if if you want to refresh your screens, you don't have to. The pin, I figured out how to get the pin back on. Uh, Upgrading security in some ways is worth it, but there's a trade-off between security and screwing up your computer. So yeah, definitely call in live if you'd like. You can just click the link at the top of the chat. And so let me see here. I'm going to go through the military chat and I guess different voices because it's not like the DTC says, let me see. Okay, how far did I miss stuff? DTC says, I mean, isn't it normal for the military to do domestic travel, etc.? OTP says, yes, military vehicles don't teleport to different locations. Michael says the point is that it's a noticeable increase. I'm out here every day, at least 500 miles a day. DTC says, how many bases you pass through? OTP says, 500 miles a day. That's a lot. I hate doing a 35 round trip. I mean, I like driving. So, DTC says, haha. Michael says, I work on bases. They're making more tanks at a rapid pace. And I think he said he was a truck driver as well. DTC says, fair enough. Hello, Michael in New York and Alabama. DTC says, sounds based to me unless it gets sus. Haha, good to know. Michael said, I also see more recruitment sites. Last time I saw this many was during the Afghan war. OGP says, NY and Alabama have large bases in them. Michael says, could be because our military has gotten weak due to woke stuff. DTC points to that. OTP points out that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, I believe it is, said a few weeks ago recruiting was up big time since Trump came back into office. Well, it helps that he kind of, they kind of authorized those back payments to the people who were crushed during COVID in the military because they didn't want to take the backs, etc. DTC said, as long as they aren't turning the tanks on us, I'm all for it. Yeah, I agree. So again, we're now at the first minute of the second hour of our live Q&A session, our thingamabob, our thing that is usually on my screen, and I can just reference it, even though I should know by now Sunday is an 8:30 live Q&A session. And anyone can call in. Just click the link at the top of the chat, and you should be able to log in. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have questions about Orthodoxy, if you have questions about true Orthodoxy, if you have questions about space aliens, flat Earth, I'm just kidding. Don't do aliens and flat Earth. No, I mean I will. I'll probably. I won't be nice, but I'll probably answer. Let's see here. I'm now realizing I have enough space on the screen where if I put stuff for donations, I don't have to beg as much. OTP says, did you cover the Ecumenist news today? I did not even. I wasn't even aware of there was Ecumenist news today. I only covered them, taking a step back on the Holy Resurrection Cathedral, and I covered the debate forfeit. What is this Ecumenist news of which you speak that I missed? I'm feeling like people are getting better at being NFTU than NFTU, which is good. I want to be replaced. In any case, maybe one day I can just go and retire from fighting nonstop. Father, quite very unrelated. It's an open stream. Okay, yeah, I'm looking for your text, OTP. Very unrelated, but today I came across some Protestants so radical that they rejected even reuniting in formal church buildings and advocated for some biblical house church model. It's hard to know how to feel about that. On the one hand, first off, house churches did exist, and they historically always have existed. There's provision for them in the canons, but they're not supposed to be permanent, or at least they shouldn't be permanent insofar as, I mean, they can be permanent, I guess. But let me see here. Give me 1 second. What? Okay, these guys. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh, this is going to be this will be fun to cover, Subdeacon. Yeah. Was Michael asked, was it Steven Anderson's cult? No idea, but I mean, I can understand that being a natural reaction to, like, things like mega churches, etc., that have turned, basically Protestantism into a giant shopping mall. All right. OTV says, I'm also confused about what this one says. LOL. Oh, it's going to get interesting, to say the least. Let's get started. Time to put it on the screen and then change my thing. Yeah, I don't think it's the thing is a house church by itself is not sinful. It's when it's formed in opposition to a legitimate true church. And unfortunately, in Protestantism, there's technically no such thing. It's all invisible. So it's the church of opinions. Okay, so let's put this up here. Let's go to the StreamYard and see how it looks. All right. I wonder if I can move myself to the right. I can't. Okay, so let's see. The Metropolitan of Kiev, the Greek old calendarists of the Philaret, do not belong to our church. First off, that's just funny to say. The Greek old calendarists of the Philaret do not belong to our church. Like, the Philaret is like this he's like a sea monster or something, and these are like advocates of, he's like the Loch Ness monster, the Philaret. And the joke of this, of course, is that in the first place, there's a whole history between the Philaret. Who is this guy? Which Metropolitan is this? Epiphany? Yeah, Metropolitan Epiphany. A letter to the Holy Synod of the Church of Greece was sent to Metropolitan Epiphany of Kiev regarding the inclusions of the Metropolitans of the old calendarists in the now abolished Kiev Patriarchate under the former Metropolitan of Kiev. Yeah. Okay. With this letter, Epiphany informed the Holy Synod of the New Calendar Church of Greece that the Holy Synod of the Church of Ukraine has decided on all those under, former Metropolitan Filaret Denisenko of Kiev, in infringement of the sacred canons of the character charter of the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, which they have been properly elected by the Synod Church, including the old calendarists of Greece, including those self-promoted as high priests Auxentius Marinus and Demetrius Chrysostomou Callis, as well as all those who belong to the old calendarists in Greece, have nothing to do with the Orthodox Church of Ukraine and can in no way be accepted into ecclesiastical society. Ooh, sounds cruel. Here's the problem with it. There's going to be a few problems with it. As for the now defunct Kiev Patriarchate, give me just a moment here. Mm-hmm. Yep. Here is the website of the Kiev Patriarchate. No, I screwed that up. One moment. Yeah, it's right here. And as you can see, it does not look defunct. In fact, those news stories are from last week, since Europeans usually put the month after the day. So, in fact, here's what happened. What happened was when Constantinople was busy trying to make its uncanonical Ukrainian church, originally it had been a deal between some former KP bishops, some bishops that Constantinople had made, the Constantinople group in Ukraine, and the Kiev Patriarchate. They were all, something was bothering me. They were all kind of merged together in this monstrosity, this thing. And then Patriarch Filaret Denisenko, we could say self-styled, he was actually Metropolitan of Kiev under the Moscow Patriarchate before he did the rare thing of repenting of his involvement in Sergianism. He is literally, I think, to this day, the only MP bishop that has done that. But he was still an MP bishop. He was doing all the conniving and the scheming and so on and so forth. Even for a while, we were in tenuous communion with him and our Milan synod, and then he just went crazy or too far, and Metropolitan of Logos was like, "We're not putting up with this. We are breaking communion with you." And some of his people actually, because they were connected, they hacked a lot of our old websites. So there's a funny. That's what he was doing before that, and for a while he was making declarations like, "I'll bring all the old calendarists into communion with me, and we'll form a counter church." If he hadn't called it counter church, who knows? The plan might have come closer to working. But he had his own wacky ideas, as there are lots of wacky ideas throughout the ecclesial circles of Ukraine. But anyway, so Constantinople put all these people together, and Philaret thought that he was going to obviously lead that organization. Instead, they made Epiphany Domenko the head of the organization. So Philaret said, "That's it. We're taking our bishops and we're going home." And that's exactly what they did. So now, let's get back to the news story on this. So now what's happening is, I guess, Philaret has taken in two of these old calendar bishops. One of these, Auxentius Marinus, is a nephew of Archbishop of, ever memorable Archbishop Auxentius of Athens. But he got made in one of these smaller groups, and then he decided to cash in on his name and looks, because he does, to his credit, look something like Archbishop Auxentius. And he declared himself Archbishop of Athens the second. Never really gained much support. And then he took in a bunch of new calendar parishes in Australia. And so you have this old calendarist supposed bishop taking in a bunch of new calendarists in Australia. And so then after that, basically, he lost all credibility within the true Orthodox world. So I guess he wanted to gain his credibility somehow. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think these are the same two bishops that Moscow picked up in their failed union discussion attempt with the GOC Synod in Athens. They could be, but I don't think they are. But they ended up taking these two bishops as a representation of the Moscow Patriarchate in Athens because their actual union negotiations failed. So ironically, after calling, people like us sectarians and Vagantes, the only people they were able to pick up in Greece, the Moscow Patriarchate that is, were sectarian Vagantes. And they did, and they dolled up good. Now, I don't know if these are the same people, but it looks like Philaret of Kiev is trying to do the same thing. So that he can declare that his church is all over the world, when in reality, I don't even know how many churches he has left in the United States. I will say that he does take care of things in some ways more efficiently than the World Orthodox do. But let's go to here. This is the article that references, where it says Philaret gathers the Greek old calendar. So there is the Philaret. While he was portrayed in the previous article as like some sort of monster, we can just see he's just a really old man. He might have been a really old man who might have been involved in killing people, but that's not the point. The point is, Philaret, former Metropolitan of Kiev, and now the head of the abolished organization, is trying to gather all the old calendars together under his umbrophorium. Oh, what's this? 2021. Oh. Sources in Kiev said that after the inclusion of the Kiev Patriarchate of the Metropolitan of Evgenius and Poros Avsentios, the various old calendarists of genuine Orthodox Christians, which took place on December 23rd. This is like 3 years old, and the problem is everyone kind of knows who this guy is. So supposedly, okay, so this guy is Auxentius Marinus. He joined in 2021. And basically, so these guys, is this new? No, this is 3 years old. So I thought this was news. Subdeacon. I thought it was news. But yeah, so sadly, I guess they want to say that these old counters who they never recognized anyway, they double not recognize them. And so, oh well, you know, and that's what the OCU had to say. So that was interesting. Okay, so let's see here. Let's put back our screen, and we will look. Juan says skull notice. OTP says he also has a wife and kids. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. As did the previous patriarch of Moscow. Patriarch. So, let me see here. Maximo says many churches in Michigan. I'm assuming that's from that previous comment. But in any case, yeah, it's going. Things are moving along. I am just checking something here. All right. Well, let's see. Again, this is, if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. It's been 15 minutes. So I was going to mention, I'm seeing how I could use technology in ways where I don't have to, as one person put it, beg the internet for money. I could put it where people could donate without feeling like they're being begged at. But I feel like I need to beg at because, well, it's the 15th. Bills come in. We are broke. We're surviving. Debt to Compromise says New World Order. Michael says, no, there's only one in Florida. Michael, stop saying that. People might believe you. Seth L says, how have you been, Father? I'm actually doing well. A new grandchild, new step-grandchild, much more recently. First grandchild celebrated her birthday this weekend. Her second birthday. It's been busy. People have been reaching out, asking about True Orthodoxy, asking how they can find a church, etc. And sometimes I feel like I'm the world's directory. But there's a lot of resources for people out there who want to find it. It's True Orthodox people are closer than you think. And we do our job. We have to pray. We have to fast. Tomorrow, as you know, is the beginning of the Apostles' Fast, and getting all sorts of ideas with all the new things I can do on StreamYard. What if I could introduce, vignettes for water breaks? Could have I don't know, lives of saints or debate clips or discussion clips in lives while I take a water break. But yeah, until then, that's kind of how we're doing. I'm kind of amazed as how technology changes and how I'm trying to keep up. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So hopefully you're doing well, Seth. I hope you're doing well. Just Conquista says NFTU. Yeah, notes from the underground. I noted on Twitter this weekend on X that it was 21 years ago, probably around this time. I think maybe a month or two later, that I was working at a church. I was actually doing web design, and I did the parish's web design. And I originally I was just told do whatever, so I made my own, which I thought looked nice as a template for a website. Yes, Seth L says thanks. Yes, family's healthy. Glory to God. Glory to God indeed. I put up, I got put up this website template, and I said, "Here you go, Father." And he was like, "That's kind of garish." Like, yeah, I remember it because of the word. And he said, "Didn't you learn anything about color theory?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And so he proceeds to show me various ways in which colors can match, and then he used the church as an example. And so I kind of got what he was kind of going with, and so I created that, and he was like, "This looks good." So I said, "Okay." Now my garish template that I had worked on, I kept. He didn't want it, so I could do what I wanted with it. So I started using it as a ROAC news site. called NFTU, Notes from the Underground. That's what it stood for, and it actually had the words. And I proceeded to start on Blogspot. That was 21 years ago. Since then, obviously, it's moved to its own domain. It's completely different hosting, completely different website in terms of design. It's huge and expansive. And we've done, 21 years of news since on it. And so, it's in its time, it did a lot. And that's now it's time to start moving things technologically forward. So now I'm starting to include articles with links to our videos here as new technologies continue to develop. And so what I will say is this. A lot of people, even I'd say even some true Orthodox people, have asked. Actually, well, let me answer. I'll get to that in a second. All right, because we just got a couple of things. Gaddy says, "Good evening. Why do you think many neo-Protestants equivocate on the intercession of the saints being necromancy? Also, how's your night going?" My night's going okay. Thanks for asking. I think it's pretty straightforward why they think it's necromancy, and that is because they genuinely believe that people after this life die. They probably believe in some form of soul sleep or semi-annihilationism, where they'll come back at the judgment, body and soul, but they have no idea where the soul's gone. They don't know where the soul's been. They often don't define that. And so I think that's where it comes to being necromancy. If you do not believe your brothers and sisters in Christ are alive after their physical sleep, and that's why we say reposed as opposed to just died, because we believe they're asleep in that sense physically, but that their spirit is still awake and still acting. So yeah, if you don't believe that happens, that the soul is living and awake and alive, it naturally follows you're worshiping a dead person. You're asking a dead person to do something from their perspective that has no life in it. That's the opposite of what Christ says. It's the opposite of what the apostles say. It's the opposite of what I think the entire Old Testament tradition says. But it's they believe they're dead. Let me see here. Michael says Dostoevsky. Don't know what you're referring to, but if you're asking if I like Dostoevsky, I thought The Brothers Karamazov was one of the finest works of Russian literature ever. Taylor Harden with a member chat. See that S there? If you're a member, you get your things on the screen without a super chat. Otherwise, you got to put on a super chat. So John asks, what kind of fast is the Apostles' fast? No meat, no milk or eggs. Right. Always count milk and eggs together because they're dairy. It's just easier. Now, no meat is correct. So there's no meat, milk, or eggs. One thing that is different is I know that, John, you are Western Rite. So basically, like, there are no like distinctions of fish days or seafood days in the Western Rite. So what that means is Western Rite people can eat fish. And for those of you who are used to eating according to the traditional Eastern Rite, I can guarantee you if you just eat fish, that joy and excitement will last you approximately a month and a half. And then it'll just still feel like the fast. So, so no meat, milk, or eggs. In the Eastern Rite, there are a number of fish days. So functionally, these are very, very close to each other on this particular fast. So it's great and simple. So once again, if you're a member, you get your chat on the screen as well as if you send a super chat. Aaron Malloy, hello, says great thumbnail. I thought it was appropriate. As you know, like I recapped in the beginning, I ate a bunch of ice cream, which is why I'm burping, by the way. So just, a great, I had some of that ice cream, but wait, let me go back. Great thumbnail. Yeah, the idea behind the thumbnail was very simple. As we recapped, we had a small victory in that they've pulled the church off the market. So at least to our knowledge, it won't be sold to a Hindu. So that's good. That's a plus. Gaddy says, thank you. Leo Harker says, brothers Karamazov. Michael says he wrote notes from the underground. Yes, he did. And that is also a great work. I actually chose that work as part that title as part homage to Dostoevsky, but also part homage to the Catacomb Church, because in many cases they were sometimes even underground, and they were, in the sense of being illegal, always underground. So that was the reason, and it worked for me. So yeah, let me think here. What else? So we're now in the 24th minute of the second hour. So we're going to, we're setting a record. I will say that. Let me see here. Traditional asks, excuse my ignorance, Father. Are World Orthodox the ones who embrace communism? Yes. Very simply. As much as they may try to point to the opinion of one or this or another Greek bishop, they're the ones who embraced the Moscow Patriarchate, treated it as the legitimate Russian church, abandoned the Catacomb Church, pretended they didn't exist, as the Moscow Patriarchate helped in their persecution, joined the World Council of Churches and accepted the communist principles into the seminaries that we would see from the Moscow Patriarchate. So yeah, effectively they did. They embraced communism in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Kind of shook it off as communism began to collapse in the 80s and ultimately 1990s. So yeah, you are correct. Again, if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question, make a comment, make a challenge, just click the link at the top of the chat. Just know that if you make a challenge, you have made one 24 days faster than Jay Dyer, who is still afraid to debate us. So let's see here. What else have we got today? Any interesting videos that we have seen? Oh, wait a second. Let me see something here. Let's go to YouTube and find out. So, hold on a moment. This is... One second. All right, so let's see what's going on. Okay. So, the Crucible is live on the Whatever podcast. Okay, that's interesting. Baking Christian Prince live. Yeah, something tells me, Libiano, you didn't bake them. Let's see here. Attacked in the park and then everything changed. Okay, that's nothing new. Interesting. Okay, a lot of people have been talking about the Jay Dyer talking to a papist and a Mason. That to me doesn't interest me. They know how to talk to the papists. They use their language, so on and so forth. It's just a joke. Seth L asks, how does one judge with righteous judgment? When you are using in terms of God's standards, you're using a proper standard. So, I think the question kind of answers itself. Just reverse it. How does one judge with unrighteous judgment? We can think of all sorts of ways that happens, and we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be fair in our judgments. We're supposed to be fair in our dealings. And so we have to look at things a bit detached from any potential emotions of a situation. So that's what I would say. Ultimately, our Lord is the author of all fairness, so we must follow his example, even if that means overly merciful. Let me see here. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. Let's see what happens if we click on live. Maybe that'll pull us some things. Mm-hmm. Shams Shamoon. Mm-hmm. Open panel 6. Non-Muslims, why do you not think good? All right, so theirs is like a Muslim debate channel. Uh-huh. There's 5 of them. So it's either a 4-on-1 or 5 talking. I don't think that that wouldn't be productive. That's how you just get yelled over until you leave. So that's, I would say that that's probably not very useful. There's apologetics, and then there's basically fake apologetics. I hate to say it. Entertainment apologetics, people who aren't interested in actually helping people find the gospel, etc., or heretical apologetics or Islamic dawah. These things, half the time, a lot of these people aren't serious. They have their own awful motivations, and they're almost never good. And that's why their channels may have earthly success, but unfortunately, what good is it if you're leading everyone to hell? Like, it's sad. Sad. Nick S says, Father bless. God bless you from the Father and the Holy Spirit. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Likewise. Hope everything's going well. And then let me see here. Yeah, so that's about it. Let me see if I find something. I don't know if I want to join these guys. I don't think they're saying anything. All right, so it's guys with really thick accents. Von Eric, where's your faith? Blessings all. Okay, welcome, Von Eric. Please remember this is a live Q&A, session. So if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. Trust me, it'll probably be worth it. If you have questions, if you have comments, it should probably be worth it. Daniel York, do you think Hassan is a useful idiot? And if his popularity declines, do you think he'll be replaced? I think Hassan, well, I mean, I don't know if he's useful, but I have no idea. I think that, I don't really watch his streams. I just know he's like a real liberal weirdo. And I think that, frankly, of course they'll have another industry replacement. They always do. Let me see here. Michael said Sam Shamoon will be going on the Coptic channel, Orthodox channel. That to me is a contradiction, obviously. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He was an historian before. Now he's like, he's I think he's a Chaldean Catholic, or he may just be a Latin Rite Catholic. I have no idea. But yeah, for me, like a lot of these tend to be ecumenical discussions masked as debates, and I'm not interested in that. So, I think it's odd that we were going to have a formal debate on the Council of Chalcedon, and then all of a sudden, that's canceled. So Sam going on the Coptic Orthodox channel, when they have clear ecumenistic goals. I don't know. Let me see. Michael says, no, he's now an Albrechtian. So he's a Latin Rite Catholic. Want to be William Albrecht. So pretty sad. Pretty sad about that. But people are confusing debates for ecumenism, and that's such a dangerous thing. People are trying to find the truth. And honestly, these people are literally making money off of making the truth harder to find. And that's just sickening. It really is when you think about it. It's anti-apologetics, if you're being honest. Because you're not helping people find the truth. You're helping them lose it. Daniel York says, why does Jay Dyer act as if he's cool? For the most part, because he knows who to market. He knows who he was marketing to. So he was marketing to Gen Z. Mostly, it's one of the few places where I think Michael Lofton might have been right. Where a lot of young men, without the influence of some kind of father figure, kind of took him in as kind of a leader that they could watch online. And then that spread because, you know, guys talk to guys. And I think that to a large degree that a lot of the early fanfare around him was around the fact that he would verbally beat people up on YouTube. And that appeals to people. And so that's why I think that happened. But it is an act, and I think he knows it. But you know, I think he's serious when he debates. He does go for a win, and sometimes he's actually quite good at it. But I mean, he's not that good. Let me see. Seth L says, "Does doing debate and arguing with people ever bother you at all? Do you feel the need to take breaks and take a breather from social media?" Yeah, of course. Like I'm not like living terminally online. I mean, some days I really wish I could take this day off, but I know that that's not right because I have work to do. And so, you know, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, you're asking nicely, but at the same time, there are people who kind of wish that every day I had was like this, where, you know, I make little to no money. And then in that case, their hope is just that I'll die. Because quite frankly, what I say bothers their conscience so much that it makes them want me dead. Now, I have to make that absolutely clear that I'm not implying that I'm something special. I'm simply saying the truth. And they are so convinced, or should I say, maybe they are actually insecure about their having the truth, that my existence, and if you look at all the channels, I have a lot of channels of friends and other true Orthodox people, our existence bothers them to no end. Because if we exist, then they're under the bad guys, the people that persecuted the Orthodox. If we exist, then their entire argument is completely undermined. Completely. So their goal is for us, and in my case, me, to not exist. I've been told everything from get off the internet, get a job. So yeah, does it bother me at all? I'll tell you what bothers me, Seth. If you want to know the truth, I haven't had a formal debate moderated in almost 2 years. I hadn't had one before that, about 2 years before that. But the whole point is, for these 2 years, I've spent a lot of time asking people to debate, people who know who I am. And a lot of those people have refused. And if you're, hold on. Thank you, DA. Once again, thank you for that donation. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna update that real quick. And thank you. It was very kind. Really appreciate that. But the point is, these past 2 years have mostly been asking for debates, not getting debates. They're not happening. These people are hiding. They're saying no. They're saying, I won't do it. They're saying, oh, something happened. Oh, you know, my clothes didn't dry on time. I can't do this debate. They're making up any excuse possible because I have lost all patience with the let's not talk about it crowd. I know what that means. It means let's not talk about it until maybe after you're dead and we can make up stuff. And I'm not in the mood. And I haven't been in the mood for a very long time. So does it bother me at all? Yes, it bothers me. I would like to be spending more time with my grandchildren. However, I know that in the process of me talking, there are people who are afraid because they're being caught in lies. And so the truth matters. Yeah. So that's my answer. It bothers me that it has to be me, but God willing, it won't be forever. And then there will be a lot more people who are using the stuff I know and the stuff they're learning. There's new and younger talent I'm seeing everywhere, and they will replace me. And then I will spend time with my grandkids, and everyone will still be uncomfortable. Daniel York says, "Whoa, you said Michael Lofton was right about something." Yeah, on the Jay Dyer fandom, I think he was. I hate to say that, but at first I thought he was just being incredibly mean until I experienced so many members of his fan base acting like children towards me. Traditional Jay is an instrument God uses to orthodoxy, some say in comments. Yeah, that's how people in cults talk. Lucy M7 says, is true orthodoxy a denomination? No, true orthodoxy, well, here's the problem. The answer is no and yes. The answer is no, in that we are the church. We can trace ourselves back to the holy apostles and their practices, etc., and their illumination from the Holy Spirit at Pentecost all the way to now. And that way, we're we're older than Roman Catholicism because they invented new doctrines and we did not. So that is what I would say. I would say that we're the church. That said, most people take a minimalist definition of denomination. It is a group with a particular set of religious practices, so on and so forth. In that sense, orthodoxy would be considered a denomination, even though 99.9% of Orthodox would say that that is inaccurate, as would I. So I would say that, in fact, we're the church. Throughout the world, there's millions of us throughout the world in many different countries. Daniel says, do Eastern Orthodox priests have to wear beards? It's the tradition. It's the tradition. Now, there's some kind of, there's some, what do you call it, caveats to that. For example, technically, as long as you do not touch the skin, you can cut around. So that's why you will see some priests with short beards, neat beards, so on and so forth. I'm just lazy. I've had this beard now for a few years, and I like it. I like it. It's fluffy. I can do things. I can put pens in it. And I just, there's lots of stuff, it's a great day. Isaac says, happy Father's Day. Thank you so much, Isaac. I really appreciate it. If you have kids, etc., God bless you, and happy Father's Day to you too. And as you see, that was a member chat. So you can either do a super chat or you can become a member. And if you become a member, soon it will make more difference and stuff. Okay, Richari Mukashi. Okay, says, okay, thanks. Someone named Seth L contacted our church and then disappeared. Okay, well, that's cool. Let me see here. Lucy M7 says, is it okay to listen to all of the most popular famous priests on YouTube? No. I don't recommend it. I mean, obviously, I'm not here to police people's internet use, but I would suggest going to the NFTU YouTube channel, going to our main page, and there are so many channels you can join. Many of them are podcasts from great priests, like Father Boniface is doing catechesis. Father Stephen Allen has so much good stuff. The Orthodox Survival Course and more. There's Metropolitan Demetrius does great sermons. If you like listening to sermons in Greek and Russian, I've got those. If you like, there's so many things just linked on my channel screen. Just go to my main YouTube channel page, scroll down a little bit, and you'll start seeing suggestions left and right of true Orthodox people, who are running channels, doing great stuff. Some of them are even way bigger than mine. It's funny that people just say, well, true Orthodox is no Joseph Slade. No, they're all the genuine Orthodox, true Orthodox people. We're all the same belief system, and many of them have bigger and better channels. I highly recommend Kobel Skills Orthodox Tradition YouTube channel. Daniel York asks, what do Western Orthodox churches' priestism look like outside and inside? The easiest suggestion, if you're just looking for, what what it looked like academically, like you have no interest, real interest, but you kind of just are curious and I would suggest getting the book. It's a book by St. Martin of Tours that St. Seraphim Rose translated. Give me a second. And hold on. Mm-hmm. Vita Patrum. If you're interested in the academic understanding of what a Western Orthodox Church looks like, if you want to see what a Western Orthodox Church priesthood looks like in real life, then I would suggest going to the Abbey of the Holy Name or Transfiguration of Christ Mount on Woodstock or Father Boniface's Church in Florida. So that's Woodstock, New Jersey, Florida, to my knowledge. And then I think there's in Canada, there's Father Raphael Fauché, who's a friend of the channel. Thank you so much also to him. Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, my channel hit 1050. I was surprised. You shouldn't be. Ultimately, you have a lot of support. And what we need to do is, in order to succeed, we need to channel that support. People ask all the time, how is Sweden surviving? And it's through the support of our members, but also I try my best to make sure that everybody eats, as the kids say. We try to, I try to share as much of my of the channels of my people in my synod. I think every true Orthodox Christian should be doing that. I find way too many people that are looking at, they're basically looking at like stuff like Father Josiah Trenum or Peter Hears while they're looking at our stuff occasionally, but they could spend their entire day looking at our stuff. I barely look at the stuff from Peter Hears or from Father Josiah Trenum. I barely look at that stuff. I'm too busy looking at the stuff we're doing. I'm too busy looking at the news we have. So that's that's what it was. So that's what I would say on that. We have to support each other more. If we don't, as Benjamin Franklin said, if we must hang together or we will hang separately. So that's the way I see it. Seth L says, oh, I see. Vichari says, there was a young man who was interested in true Orthodoxy, but I believe that what happened was someone in World Orthodoxy told him to stay away from true Orthodox. Yeah, scare tactic. Says that that's a shame. I almost didn't keep going to my parish when I saw what people were saying about the genuine Orthodox parish I was going to. Yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't, Seth. After doing the live stream with the Cleave to Antiquity, he is now using the live stream to expose Orthodox corruption since he is a Protestant apologist. Do you think he will slow the growth of Orthodox? No. And as a matter of fact, if you weren't here, he popped into the chat and asked if I wanted him to pop in for chat, but he's taking care of his wife, so he may not make it. I do not see it as a negative, and I will explain why. It's just basically simple game theory. And it has nothing to do with him as a person. I like him as a person, so he's always welcome to come on anyway. But why would I help with that situation? Well, here's the thing. If World Orthodoxy is lying and is false to the people, but they have the biggest visibility, then if he attacks them, does that help me or hurt me? Well, if they turn away from Orthodoxy altogether, it neither helps me or hurt me. I never saw them. If it helps them realize that there is a true Orthodox church and they contact me, then it helps me. So in a sense, it's a no-lose situation. You might be like, well, what happened? I mean, but if that causes people to leave World Orthodoxy, that's bad, right? No, it's not bad because they're lying to people. So like, if you're supposed to give them the fullness of the truth, which is what Orthodoxy is supposed to be, and then you don't do that, you're a false shepherd and a false pastor. Granted, we are getting better at visibility, social media, etc. So we can often catch people as they become disenchanted with Orthodoxy, and we have. And I'm not just talking my synod; I mean all the true Orthodox synods are experiencing this. So I think that in fact it's a no lose situation for me. And it drives many World Orthodox nuts. And I used to actually listen when people said, "Don't talk to this Protestant guy, don't talk to that Protestant guy," because I thought they're bad for Orthodoxy, but they weren't including me in Orthodoxy. So I started realizing it was just a win for them if I did nothing. So now I've since started doing the something, and it is working out very well. I think that a lot of the questions that Pastor Ben of Cleveland Antiquity asks are legitimate questions. I believe they have legitimate answers, but if they're not giving them, they're not doing their job as the church. Daniel York says, many Catholic apologists say that priests and Western saints wrote about the importance of Peter's position to prove their religion. There's a few problems with this. Well, the first one is that most of the time they're reading small quotes. They don't actually read the full fathers. Definitely people like William Albrecht don't do that. But the other thing is that there was a particular importance of Peter, not just in the West, but in the East. But here's the fun part. Here's the fun part of that. And that is that in the West, if you look at the original Episcopal ordination rituals, every bishop is a successor of Peter. Every single one. So that's their thinking because they were talking about Peter's faith. So in fact, it wasn't talking about the papacy, it was talking about the episcopate. Lucy M7 asks, is Jay Dyer useful in any way, shape, or form? Yes, he is. He's useful for me to mock him every time I have here with this wonderful counter until he answers my debate challenge. So he is absolutely useful until he agrees to debate me. Then he will be useful so that I can have a debate. Hope that helps. All right, we are now in the 52nd minute of the second hour, 51st minute and change. And what I am going to do is I'm going to take a 3-minute water break. We're going to take a few minutes, see if there are any final comments or questions. And, we'll finish up. So give me just a moment. Hello and welcome back. Okay. I see that there are some more comments. I did miss one. Seth finished his story by saying, "It didn't stop me. I kept going and I didn't want to let the world scare me away from Christ." Very good, Seth. God bless you and stay strong. Not everyone does. Even people who have been given everything in the world in true Orthodoxy. So, Daniel York asked, "Do true Orthodox Christians condemn feminism? If so, that's great. And is most of the history I got from school on American history a lie?" I will say that feminism, in that sense, is a subset of modernism. So, yeah, I would say that they do, even abstractly. I would say that probably, there's some work on feminism. Interestingly, the wife of Andrew Wilson wrote a book called Occult Feminism. I haven't read it yet, but from what I hear, it gets rave reviews in the history of feminism being tied to the occult. So definitely worth checking into that book on Amazon. Ortho Pirate with a member comment in the chat says Jay Dreyer may eventually accept the challenge, but then follow the trend to back out last second because his neon sign broke. I don't know how that would work. I mean, it would be hosted on Vocab Malone's channel unless he literally can't think without his neon sign. I think he should be fine. Daniel York says, "Is the pre-schism Western liturgy more linear? And is there mysticism in the liturgy?" Or mysticism in the liturgy? Well, it depends on what you mean by linear. If you mean, does it follow progressively better? Yes, it does. Because there are sequences, etc., that were taken out of the Tridentine liturgy. So, in fact, it's a longer liturgy and it's a smoother liturgy with a lot more singing. And is there mysticism in the liturgy? I mean, there's mysticism in every true liturgy. There's the mystical body of Christ comes down to be nourishment for the flock. So, I mean, there's always some level of mysticism. Is there a huge difference between the Greek and Russian Orthodox Church? In terms of the services, I would say not really. There's a couple of different arrangements, but the Greeks and Russians are very different people. So their music is different. Some of the ways they celebrate are different, but there's a lot of uniformity. Oh, Father Boniface is here.
Benedicite.
Benedicite, how are you doing, Father?
Oh, I don't know. I could complain, but I'm hurting, but just trying to wade through the waters here. That's all. So I have a doctor's appointment. On Tuesday. So anyway,
36 hours to go. You got this.
Yeah. I wanted to address the question of whether we're being lied to by the American school system. Who brought that up?
I didn't even get to that. I forgot to get to that. I was going to say yes, but in any case, I'm sure you have some more to add.
I was a tutor for a young lad for 5 years, going through his junior high and high school, and so I know the curriculum of history, of public history, and yeah, you have to realize that if this country was founded by men who hated authority, that is monarchy, and loved humanistic values, like Thomas Jefferson, and took their examples with John Locke and David Hume and basically Rousseau too, and so the French Revolution, and they're all kind of in the same party there, then you're not being told truth. These men were men of ill intent. George Washington was a Freemason, Jefferson was Franklin was a Rosicrucian, and Jefferson hated the Bible. And so the whole fabrication of this country and the Constitution is not based on truth. It's based on humanism. And so they spin their yarn and they, make their stories up and create their own heroes and stuff like that. So, the Orthodox perspective helps you to see those things and just to cope with it in your own country and stand up for Christ accordingly. Just be wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Amen to that, Father.
That's just a little, but I could tell you, I'll just go at length a little bit. When this country was formed, it had this idea of liberty and freedom. And so, with Jefferson and these guys in the Declaration of Independence, well, the definitions of liberty and freedom have changed in 2 centuries. Where they are
That's very
now
true.
is never what they were intended to be back then. Even though Jefferson knew that it would open up some doors for all kinds of stuff that went against the culture of the day, because America had a lot of Christian influence, but later on, it would open up the door for women's rights, and then, of course, gay rights and stuff like that. So yeah, you need to read. I would say examples of good monarchs and Vladimir Moss's works, and you just got to do a lot of historical reading, but you have to use the right sources to help you straighten out the mess.
Indeed.
There you go.
Indeed, Father. Very true. Very true, Father. Thank you for that expansion on the question. Definitely, sobering words.
Yeah.
I'm willing that'll be okay. All right, so we've got some comments. So I'm going to cover those. This was an interesting one. You might want to take this one as you currently celebrate in the Western Rite. Daniel York is asking, is the old Western Rite super structured like a Roman Catholic Mass? I mean, it's longer, it's bigger, but I mean, there's more to say on that, but I don't think it's not the same. It's similar.
No. Yeah, it's similar. It's similar. I mean, I went through the old Catholic Church, and I did the Traditionalist Mass. And I've actually done the Novus Ordo. I've done the Traditionalist Mass. I've done the English High Church Mass. And so the Sarum Mass that we're doing now has a lot of similarities. A few differences here and there, but our liturgy is excellent, and our saints are excellent. You see, there's the difference there is that we have really true saints, and so it's all just a blessing in that direction. So when you're dealing with the old history, the old Orthodox Church, it's rich. Period. So I don't know if that helps a little bit.
No, it does. Absolutely does. Let me see here. In the stream, Lucy says, in the stream, you mentioned it's set up for people like Elpidophorus to get to his position. What did you mean? Well, it's very simple. From everything from what happens in like when you go there, first off, most priests have to have degrees, which means they have to get it from one of their institutions. Those institutions have specific teachings, etc., in place that you're kind of going to agree with if you want to get well with your professors, pass your courses, etc. If there's more people shaken out of the seminaries before they even graduate than graduate, so that gets out a number of troublemakers. And once you've gotten to the priesthood, that's another level where they can shake out troublemakers because they can be removed and deposed. By the time someone's getting like like proto-priest, etc., in the Greek Archdiocese, they know what the deal is inside the ecumenical and modernist organization, and they're okay with it. They are on par with it. They're most likely not going to ever turn on them discovering the truth. They've already seen some of the truth. It's ugly, and they don't care because they want something else. Usually, it's some people do, I'm sure, being maybe incredibly ignorant and say we have no idea where the church is if not here, and I think that's being a little dishonest. But we'll see. I think that most of the people who had been shaken out have left, and the people that you do have left, those are papabilis. Those are people capable of being elevated to the episcopate. They're part of the hush up. They're part of the problem, and ultimately, that's why they are where they are. And so that's what I mean is that someone like Elpidophorus moves up the ranks in that way through these barriers, and he's seen as what he is, and they agree he's useful to them, etc. Santhosh Wesley says, how can one become Orthodox Christian if we don't have access to Orthodox Church? In India, we have only the Oriental Orthodox, which is 600 kilometers away from my place. Orthodox Christians in general, many are, once you have been baptized into the church, then you can say what's known as Tipika or Misasika. And you can try, if you don't want to relocate to a place where there is a church near you, you can try to, you say your Tipika every week, your Misasika, and hopefully the priest can send you things to help you with your prayers until you can receive communion again in that year, or if you can go more often, then you can. As I know from India, ultimately the closest bishop you have is in Indonesia. And ultimately, I would suggest writing him a letter. Many of these bishops are experienced with dealing with long distance relationships, catechumenates, baptisms, etc. Until you can form your own house parish, you could be blessed then as a reader. And then more could be done, and you could collect the community, and then eventually you build the church. What again, I don't think anyone, it's not common for bishops to want to travel across the seas to assist, and it's not always even good policy. What I would say is try to contact the bishops nearest to you, Oriental Orthodox or Monophysites. If you know that's wrong, then you shouldn't be contacting them. Then you contact the true Orthodox bishop, say, for example, in Indonesia, and hopefully they would be able to get someone over to you or help you get over there so that you can be received into the church. So that's my suggestion. I certainly, I can't do anything from Northeast U.S. To assist, but 2,000 kilometers is better than 50,000 kilometers. So that's the way I see it. Isaac says 100% to Father Boniface's comments on the schools. That's good. Let me see here. Daniel York says, I'm pretty sure that my great-grandfather on my dad's side was a Freemason. He had these secret tapes in his house and is still alive. Well, don't touch your dad's stuff. If your dad makes it to, from what I understand, like 5th to 6th or 7th degree, most of those are social degrees. People in those levels do not know what happens at the top levels. First, second, third, fourth degree, these are, as I've heard from former Masons, these are accomplished by just showing up throughout the year, over the course of a year. So, I don't want to judge your dad. I have no idea, or your great grandfather on your dad's side was a Freemason. You can always, look if he's still alive, you can't ask him. He won't tell you, because he thinks he's got a grand secret. But yeah, I mean, that's all I would say. That's not you. While he's alive, that is none of your business. He's your great grandfather, and he still has the right to keep his stuff private. Is Father Paul Truenbach okay or strictly true Orthodoxy? The way I look at it is this: if you ask Father Paul Truenbach whether he recognized us as priests, and he said no, then why would I recommend him? I'm not saying that's what's happened, but I've heard from Father Paul. I've heard about Father Paul, Father Peter, Father, a number of people, with the rare exception of Father John Whiteford, even though that kind of probably has changed over this year. But the simple reality is they don't recognize us, so why should we recognize them? Like, I mean, it's not even a maybe. Like, I know that some true Orthodox have negative views on each other, but at least they take it closer to the maybe position than they do to just, we're all schismatics, which is their position. So I don't know. Ask Father Paul Truenbach, what do you think about the true Orthodox? And then based on his answer, judge for yourself whether that's a good idea. Again, I'm not anyone's YouTube police, so all I'll say is it's better to stick with true Orthodox channels. And if you go to my channel, as I said, go to my channel page, there's literally like at least 40 more channels, which will lead to at least 40 other channels. So what do you need to go to these people? It's like, or just go to them because they're famous or because they show up in the algorithm. They show up in the algorithm because nobody tries to see anything different. Everyone wants an echo chamber.
Hey, I'm going to sign off.
Okay, Father.
All right. God bless you all, and thank you all for your prayers.
No problem, Father. Have a good night.
Good night. Benedicite.
Benedicite. There's a difference between freedom, meaning political freedom or liberty, and licentiousness. There is absolutely that difference. And Daniel says he was a 33rd degree Mason. What do Masons believe? Well, Masons have a lot of strange beliefs. I would probably recommend reading Pike's History of Freemasonry, and you can find it in Barnes and Noble. But a 33rd degree Mason, from what I remember, is a diplomatic Masonic degree, which means that it is sometimes given to people who wielded power in statecraft. Was your grandfather some kind of general or something like that? Your great grandfather? Possibly, though sometimes that's what people moved in with. See, George has been an oath, the last of the old school French Catholics, la liberté, pourquoi faire, freedom, yeah. Freedom, like liberty, why do you exist? And so, yeah. Lucy M7 says, Father Swaden, how often will you stream? I do a live stream once, sometimes twice a week, but I always do the Sunday stream. So yeah, that's the easiest way. Santosh, thanks, Father. You're welcome. I understand things are difficult, but nothing is impossible with Christ. Seth L, Father Boniface, how did your procedure go? I remember saying sometime going to the hospital. Yeah, he's been recovering for about a week and a half, Seth. They're doing he's going to be recovering for a few months, and hopefully the next phase of his recovery will be a lot better and more positive, and that should be after Tuesday. So God willing. No, Father's not a Mason. Only my great grandfather can. Just wanted to clarify. No problem. Lucy, you're welcome. Apologies, but for random questions. But did Aquinas really regret his writings on God, and do Catholics believe this as well? I have no idea. I don't know where Aquinas is. I do know about his last words where he said, everything I wrote is but straw. To be fair, compared to the mystic theology of the church, maybe if he saw something mystical, it would have told him that his stuff is completely straw. So who knows? Daniel says he served in the military. I think he was an engineer in the Navy. Yeah, that could have been possibly careerism. Yeah. Isaac says, same here, Dan. Stay away. Rhodes College family, 1855. Yeah, maybe he might have a little of the crazy in him because the Masons they can get weird. But all right. So with that, what I'm going to do is I am going to, again, I don't have my useful scripts where I can say thank you to everyone. But in any case, I think I'm going to cut it around the 15 mark. So I would like to say thank you to everyone who participated in the stream. Thank you to Father Boniface for coming in to help. Thank you to Pastor Ben from Cleveland Antiquity for offering to help. Thank you to each one of you with your questions and your comments. We try to do this every week, and we do it live at 8:30. And then we do other things throughout the week. Seth L says, thanks for answers. Father bless. May God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Apex Theory says, Father bless. May God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And Daniel says, God bless you, Father. Thanks. And in any case, so thanking all of you for your support, your comments, your questions. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on GiveSendGo. Just take a look in the description, and as well, you can always send a super chat. And with that, through the prayers of Holy Fathers, will Jesus Christ, our God of mercy, on us and save us. And have a beautiful, blessed, and productive fast of the apostles. Good night.